I'm Gary Isaacs. Let me share an episode from my innovation experience today. I bring this up to show you that my advice to you on the Ike Pickett Show is not from a position of ignorance. I'm qualified by experience to understand the things that I share with you on these Ike Pickett podcasts. So here we go. Here's one. Butch Otter was the son-in-law of J.R. Simplot. Simplot provided potato products in support of the troops in the Second World War, and on request from the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Ezra Taft Benson, he supplied for the rehabilitation of the citizens of Germany and others in the aftermath. He had the largest private corporation in the United States at one time. Otter was the Republican governor of Idaho for 12 years. He and I were friends. We rodeoed, traveled, and sang songs together when I worked on his political campaigns. I wrote and performed his campaign songs for him on 2 occasions. He invited me to a VIP meeting at his home in 2008 that was arranged in conjunction with the Idaho Department of Commerce. That meeting began a relationship with world business leaders, and the following year a trip to South Korea with the IDC. At the governor's house, I met Jin Roy Ryu, the president and CEO of Pungsan Corporation. Pungsan is a Korean company that reprocesses copper, manufactures ammunition, and is the world's largest producer of coin blanks, producing coinage for 70 countries, including the United States. Jin Roy Ryu was the Asia-Pacific deputy chairman of the Tri-Lateral Commission that was founded by David Rockefeller. Get the picture? He brought Colin Powell with him, who spoke at the conference. Colin Powell was the former National Security Advisor for Ronald Reagan and the U.S. Secretary of State in the George W. Bush administration. I talked with Powell face-to-face at that meeting. Here is a picture. Jin Roy Ryu gave me first edition Thomas Jefferson dollar that had been recently coined by his company. I still have it. Roy and I met again on Jeju Island off the coast of South Korea a year later. At that meeting, he asked me if I was leaving from Seoul with the Idaho Department of Commerce the next day, and I told him that I was staying on an additional day. He then set up for me to make a presentation in Seoul and called his plant managers from 5 plants and locations all over South Korea to attend the presentation. The language barrier was a problem since I didn't speak Korean. I asked my partner, Park Sung-on, to be at the meeting to present the information in the Korean language. The presentation didn't go very well. In due respect to Mr. Park, he, on such quick notice, had not been properly prepared. He was not introduced to the group beforehand, and the presentation was confusing and it fell short. As a consequence, the technology was not moved forward with Pungsan. In 2010, I phoned Jin Roy Ryu in an attempt to revive his interest, but he said that he did not have a good fit for the development of new technologies. I didn't have the resources or the capital to meet Pungsan at the level required to make it happen with them. That was my closest exposure to the exclusive elite oligarchs of the world. In view of what I have learned since that time, his denial was probably a blessing in disguise for me. My clean air system would have to wait a little longer until it finally came into use in many countries by potato growers for the preservation of their potatoes in storage. But that's a story for another time. One thing's for sure, Pungsan will never manufacture coin blanks for Bitcoin unless they take up digital mining and give up on metal and paper money. In addition, I think their manufacturing of ammunition will be severely deterred when wars are no longer used to settle disputes in the new world economy dominated by Bitcoin. I'm Gary Isaacs with the Ike Pickett Show. Thanks for hanging with me today. Remember, knowledge is power, and it also displaces fear. Open my website, myintegritypath.com. Get your free copy of the Declaration of Financial Independence. Read my book, Standing Up to the Coup, and you can listen to my book, Searching for Bitcoin, by audio. Remember who you are and why you are here at this important time, and rest peacefully, knowing that your integrity and your savings are not controlled by a government-private partnership, but are in your own private custody.
There's an old American system, it's called free enterprise. We have a tendency to forget when the do-gooders start to rise. When the dollar gets weak and prices are high and they give us their socialist salve. If the government can give you all you want, it can take everything you have.